we go. And then let me hit the record. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. We're back again. Me and my partner in crime, Michelle. We do this call every Wednesday to come on here and share nuggets that we believe can help you out in your life, in your business, and just do better overall. So we want to come on here and talk about something that we believe that will really help you going forward to knock out this month, whatever month you're actually watching it. But if you're watching this live, it's already 32 days now into a new year. So that's a big deal because I've watched a lot of people personally. By this time, they've already given up on their goals and dreams. So I'm actually going to ask my partner in crime to go first because I know she has an amazing topic, and I'm going to come back at amazing tips and everything to share. So, Michelle, the floor is yours. You guys, she's awesome. I hope you got your pen and paper ready because I do.
Awesome. Thanks, Aunt. Good morning, everybody. So I want you to just put yourself in this scenario for just a moment. Close your eyes if you want to, but just imagine this scenario. You come around the corner and you see someone who you love and care about. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's your best friend, and you hear someone speaking to them. And the words that they are saying are destructive. They're saying, you can't possibly do that. Why would you even try? You're not capable of that. You're better off to just stop, right? You can't get it right. You're not smart enough. You're not capable. You can't succeed in that. So don't even try. What would you do? Would you just agree and be like, yeah, that's probably true? Or would you step in and would you intervene? Would you put a stop to that and say, excuse me, what? I don't think so. That is not who they are. That is not truth in any way. They are powerful and capable of things beyond their comprehension. Why would you even say that? If that happened to another person, we would step in and intervene. We would cut that off at the pass and say, no, don't you dare speak to that person that way. I love that person. That is my child you're talking about. That is my best friend, my mom, my sister, whoever that person is that you imagined in that scenario. But now I want you to imagine the conversation that happens in your own head when you start to do something, when you start to set out on a new path. Does it sound the same as the words of that other person speaking to your child, speaking to the person that you care about? I'm going to guess it probably does. But do you intervene? Do you stop that conversation and say, oh no, not today. We're not entertaining that today. Or do you continue to tell yourself those things? Because a lot of times in life, what we tolerate for ourselves, we would never, ever accept for another person, for anyone that we loved, that we cared about, for our children especially. Like, we wouldn't allow someone to speak to our children that way. Why do we speak to ourselves in a way that's destructive? So I want to talk today about belief in yourself, about being brave enough to do something bold and silencing that voice that says those things. Because we all know the sound of our own voice in our head, right? The things that we say to ourselves. This week, I would like for each one of you, anytime you start to hear that voice of negativity, that voice of self-doubt, the words that say, man, I don't even know if that's possible. I've never been able to do that before. Why do I think I can do it now? I want you to catch yourself and just stop it and say, nope. And to combat that, I want you to, whether you sit down and do it all at once, or you keep like a notebook or a notes open on your phone, whatever that looks like to you, whatever is easy for you to do this. I want you to start writing down your successes in life. They can be huge accomplishments. Like for me, I'm the first person in my family to receive a 4-year degree. So that's an accomplishment for me. Maybe, it's a business deal. Maybe you just closed the biggest business deal of your career. Those are big things. We need to celebrate those. We need to write those down. And so I want you to start making a list. And if you need to start with the big things, because those jump out, do it. I don't want you to minimize the little things though, the medium things, the in-between things. Maybe you're a mom or a dad and you're like, I raised kids. I birthed a child. That's a big deal. Because in the culture that we live in, we have a tendency to minimize our successes and exaggerate our perceived failures or our shortcomings. And so I want you to start to tip that scale and write down the things that you're good at, the things that you're proud of, the things that you have done in your life that you can look back at and see as an accomplishment. Maybe that's honor roll in high school. Maybe that's a promotion at a job. Maybe that's just simply, I found myself in that hallway overhearing a conversation and I stepped in and I defended somebody who couldn't defend themselves. And make a list and flip the page and keep making your list. And anytime you start to question your own capability, yourself, your ability to do the things you want to do, I want you to go back and look at that list. And I want you to see all of the times in your life that you were successful. And as you look at those things, I want you to revisit the process of achieving that. For some of those things, maybe it was just courage in the moment. Maybe it was standing up to somebody who has been treating you poorly and you finally said enough. Maybe it was something that was a years-long process, that it took consistency and determination and grit day in and day out over and over again. And think about that process and everything that you put in to achieving it. What did it feel like? Was it hard? Did you think at times that you couldn't do it? And then look, you did it. In spite of being hard and taking longer than you thought it would. Lance just put in the comments, I think about my Ironman swim. The first time around, that thing kicked his butt. And you know what? The second time around, he kicked its butt. He nailed it. He knocked it out of the park. He didn't quit. It was a process and it took him on a different path. The journey was a little different than he anticipated at the outset, but you know what? He succeeded. And very often in life, the things that we're the most proud of, that we see as our biggest accomplishments, those were things that were hard. We had to put effort in to get the reward out. And so I want you to make that list and remind yourself that you are capable. And remind yourself that you can do hard things. Maybe it takes you longer. Maybe it didn't work out just right the first time. But you know what? I know in my business and in my life, I have learned more from failures, from things not going right, from disappointing client interactions or sales processes. I've learned more from that than the ones that went perfect the first time around. Because it teaches us how to overcome. It teaches us how to get better if we let it. But if we don't, if we just choose to look at it as I'm a failure, that didn't go very well. I guess I'm never going to get that right. If that's the conversation we allow to happen in our brain, we're going to sideline ourselves from doing big things in the future. And so we have to choose. Am I going to let it sideline me and kick my butt and convince me that I can't? Or am I going to remember that anything worth having, anything worth doing is worth doing well? It's worth working for. And remind yourself of your successes, of all of those things that you've done well, that you've gotten right, that you accomplished and succeeded in. Life is full of those. And even if it's little things, I want you to write it down. Because life is built on those little things, on those little moments of success and accomplishment. And if it's something for you that you've identified as a struggle for yourself, let's just say, for instance, maybe to some people, setting an alarm and getting up the first time that alarm goes off, instead of hitting snooze over and over again. For some people, that alarm goes off and they're up. My husband, he's that way. It's like he lives like he's in a toaster. He sleeps in a toaster. The alarm goes off, boink, he's up. I am not that person. So for me, just simply saying, I'm going to get up when that alarm goes off. Today I did it. I was so excited. I did it. For him, he's like, yeah, and? But for me, it was a big deal. And so write down your little things that are big things to you. That it's a step in the right direction. It's a choice to move yourself forward. It's a choice to say, this is an area I'm not as good at yet as I want to be. Not, this is an area I suck at. This is an area where I'm not good enough. No, you have to even change the way you think about and talk about that area of improvement. This is an area where I'm choosing to grow. This is an area of my life. This is a habit of mine that I am intentionally focusing on improving. And then as you begin to make those changes, write those down on your list. Say, I once was not as good at whatever that is. Fill in the blank. And then you can celebrate the accomplishments and say, I got up the first time when my alarm went off today. Whatever that looks like for you, because each of our journeys is different. But this habit of reminding yourself that you can do hard things and looking back and seeing, not only can I, but I have successfully done hard things and I succeeded. I came out on top. I achieved what I set out to achieve. And that will begin to build your belief in yourself. Belief is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it gets weaker. But the more you remind yourself of what you're capable of all the things, all the ways that you do succeed in life, that you do make a difference in the world around you, in people's lives. That belief begins to grow. It gets stronger. And then when that negative commentary pops up in your head that tries to shut you down, you can say, don't you see that list? I do. And I choose to speak life to myself and tell yourself you can do it. You can do hard things. And when you set out to pursue a goal, a dream, to change a habit, remind yourself why and say, it's okay if it's hard. I'm getting stronger because of the resistance. I'm getting stronger because of the effort, and it will be more worth it in the end. I will look back and be so proud of that accomplishment because I didn't cave in and believe the lies that were trying to sabotage me. And when you're on the right path, when you're doing the right thing, there's going to be a lot of that negative talk going on in your head that's trying to convince you can't. Just put in earplugs. La, 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 la. Not listening to you today. So we're going to go out there and we're going to change the way that we view our habits, our successes, and our accomplishments. Let's shift the scale. Let's bring that back into balance. Because what we want is to grow and to move forward, to believe in ourselves, to see that we are capable, more so than we ever thought, than we ever realized. And I hope that as you write this list out this week, and don't just do it this week, like keep it ongoing. But as you write it out, I hope as you put one thing on there, another thing comes to mind, and another and another. And that when you get to what feels like the end of your list, that you are completely overwhelmed with all that you have accomplished and succeeded at. Even the little things, especially the little things, put them down because the big things are built on the little things. So, Aunt, I want to hear what you have to say about belief this morning. That's been on my heart. So I hope it was helpful and encouraging, but I know you've got more that ties into that. So take it away.
Wow. I hope y'all have notes like I did. I just took so many notes, and I can't thank you enough right there, Michelle. That really hit home for me. And that's kind of where I want to go into, because, you know, like always, I love to start off with this because I know I probably can answer this question for everybody, but I had two questions for everybody. And question number one is, how many of you have goals for this year? How many of you, if you have goals for this year, in the comments, put a 1. If you have goals for this year, put a 1 in the comments. If you're watching the recording, put it in the comments as well. And I'm pretty sure I can answer that question for everybody. The answer is going to be yes. Everybody has goals. Everybody has something they want to accomplish. The next one is, the next question I want you to think about is, how many of you have dreams dreams and things you want to get accomplished for your family? And that may be for your kids, your grandkids, and all of these other type of things that your nieces, nephews. For me, I don't have kids, but I got things I want to do for my brother, my mom, my niece and nephews. And so that question, if you have that aspect, if yes is to that, put a 2 in the comments. If that is the answer, is yes to the answer to that, put a 2 in the comments. See, the thing is, I'm watching the 1s and 2s come in, and I know if you're watching the recording, you're saying yes. Well, see, the thing is, we all have goals, we all have dreams and things we want to do for ourselves and for the people we love and care about, or our communities. You may want to do something for your community, so it doesn't matter. So we all have that. But I can tell you this, if you don't start to believe in yourself, there's a high possibility that none of those things will come true. So those dreams that you have for your kids or your grandkids, if you don't start to believe in yourself, you might as well walk into their room and tell them and say, hey, mom, dad, hey, Anthony, whoever, your kids, whoever, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be able to achieve that because I don't believe in myself. See, before Lance could ever do an Ironman, he had to, one, believe in himself. Whether it was a small belief, because in the good book, it talks about faith is small as a mustard seed. So that is small, but that's just like your belief. It may be small, but if you can think about it, you can dream about it, then you can achieve it. I want to let you know that you can achieve it. And I know for the people that's in the company, it's a lot of things. They may say, hey, I didn't get to the Catalyst Club or I didn't get to VIP 3. And that's okay. And that's okay. Hey, it's all right. It's many other great things. That's just one. So that's one of my tips come later on, but I don't want to dive into that too much. But it's okay. Just trust me. Remember this. Remember all the great people who did not succeed at the beginning. A lot of people may say, well, like who? Well, okay, Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. The man just retired today, and he has the most Super Bowls in NFL history. Went from a 6th-round draft pick, not starting, to winning 7 Super Bowls. Do you think it went great for him at the beginning? Excuse my language? Hell no. Well, that's just Tom Brady. He got lucky. Okay, well, let's go over to basketball. Michael Jordan got cut from his basketball team. He did not make varsity until his senior year of high school. This guy went on to win 6 NBA championships and is arguably the best basketball player to ever play. I can go on and on and on. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Cuban. Do you want me to keep going? See, the list goes on of people who had failures and people who didn't see success right at the beginning. But my thing is, you got to believe in yourself. As I don't care what it is that you want to get accomplished, you can get it accomplished as long as you start to believe in yourself. So I thought about this acronym, and it's called THINK. And this is how I think. So I broke these down for the word think. The T. So every time before you about to put something into the atmosphere, because I always remember it's power in the tongue. I always remember. So what you put out there is, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I won't make it. I'm not this. Nobody wants to join me. Nobody wants all these type of things. So before you start to speak and put things out there, think about this. For the T, I want you to ask yourself, is it true? Is it true? Is it true nobody won't join your business? Or is it true you just haven't found the right people? Is it true the weight hasn't came off yet? Or, hey, you know what? Maybe I got to change my workout up. See, you got to start asking yourself the T, is it true? Ask yourself that question. The next question is, with the H, is it helpful? Is you speaking like that going to help you in the situation that you're in? For instance, if you don't have any money in the bank account, is telling yourself every single day that you're broke going to help you? Hell no. It's going to make you feel worse. If anybody has ever not had money in the bank account, does it make you feel better when you tell yourself you don't have any money? And if you do, you can argue with me. We can unmute. We can go back and forth about this, because I promise you, being broke is not something that you want to talk about. You don't want to tell your kids about it. You don't want to tell your spouse about it. You don't want to tell your parents about it. When you don't have money, you don't want to tell nobody about it. So ask yourself, is talking about it going to make you, is it helpful for you? No, you need to figure out solutions to the problem. Your problem is you don't have the money. You need to figure out how you're going to get the money. You have an opportunity to get the money. Now you got to figure out what you got to do to get there. The I is it inspiring? And we just answered that with the H. Is it helpful? Is it inspiring for you to talk negative? So these are questions you need to ask yourself before you put things out there. Is it inspiring? The N, is it necessary? Is it necessary for me to keep saying every single day, 10 times a day, how I don't have any money? It's not. Is it necessary to tell yourself every single day? Let's say you're going for a weight loss goal. Well, is it necessary for you to tell yourself you're out of shape? Is it inspiring? No. Is it helpful? No. For any coach that's out there teaching people, that's training people, they're going to tell you the worst thing you could do is keep telling yourself that you're not good enough. You're not going to lose the weight. You're not going to finish the race. You're not going to win the race. Like, what coach tells people that? So if your coach isn't doing it to you, then why would you do it to yourself? See, before anybody else can inspire you, before I can inspire you, before Michelle can inspire you, before Lance can inspire you, have to inspire yourself by looking in the mirror and saying, hey, I'm good enough. I'm brave enough. I'm kind enough. I'm helpful enough. I'm strong enough. I'm smart enough. I'm grateful. I am loved. I am enough. You got to say these type of things to yourself over and over and over and over, and not the negative things. And then the K stands for, is it kind? See, because a lot of us want to be kind to everybody else, but don't even want to be kind to ourselves. You're more kind to your kids than you are yourself. How can you raise a young man or young woman if you don't even want to raise yourself up? See, you got to learn to ask yourself those type of questions. Now, I do have tips. Y'all know I love leaving y'all with some tips. So going back to kind of where I started with was tip number one. What happened yesterday and what happened, last week, or let's say you didn't hit the Catalyst Club. And I know people who didn't. What happened yesterday and what happened a couple of weeks before, you cannot change it. Let me go ahead and say that you cannot change it. It's been plenty of promotions, plenty of things I did not achieve. It beat me up so much that I did not, okay, let me just be real and blunt. It beat me up so much I didn't make it to Tahiti last year. I didn't make it to none of the trips that was qualified, that was given away by the company. It beats me up because I'm very, very competitive. And I hate losing. To me, I lost. But I cannot change that. But what I can do is saying, hey, this next trip is up here and it's coming about. What am I going to do to achieve that? I did not reach my financial goal. What am I going to do to change that? You got to start focusing in on the now. What happened yesterday, all you can do is learn from it. Okay, if you want to look at yesterday and you want to look at the last 3 months, okay, what did I do? Let me look at it. And I always tell people, if you want to know where your business is, look at your calendar. So if you did not achieve something that you was pushing for, look at your calendar and let's see how many appointments you did throughout the week. If you're part-time and you did literally less than 5 appointments in a week, of course that shows me that you didn't get there, because you part-time, you still need to do about 5 to 7 appointments a week. If you're full-time, I say you need to do about 10 a week because you have more time, but you got to start doing income producing activities. I don't care what it is that you're doing. You need income producing activity in whatever activity you're pushing for. Michelle has a photography business. If she's not doing photo shoots and video vlogs and everything for her business, she's not going to get paid. And it's the same thing with this business. Lance did an Ironman, but if you take his calendar for his Ironman training, Lance won't get mad at me if I say this, but if you take his Ironman training compared to his business training, what he's doing, his IPAs is nowhere equivalent. So can you say that maybe he wanted the Ironman more than he wanted this business? See, the true question is, are you being real with yourself? See, first you got to identify that. So that's how you start to say, hey, you know what? I didn't achieve that, but I can't blame nobody else. All I can do is blame myself. I didn't put the work in to achieve that. I could have went a little harder, but, and I'm not saying beat yourself up hard about it, but you just got to be real with yourself too. So tip number 2 is, and I think this is a real big one that I watch a lot of people do when something don't happen for them. I'm going to use Lance again because, to be honest, Lance had a failure 2 years ago. The first attempt on his go around with the Ironman, he failed. He did not achieve it. He could have beat himself up. and said, hey, I don't want to do this no more. A lot of y'all could not have hit the Catalyst Club or could not have gotten to your financial goals, and you could beat yourself up and say, hey, I didn't get there. You know what? Well, all right, well, maybe one of these days I'll get to it. But you know what Lance did? He took a little break and he got back to it. And then the second year around, he achieved what he was looking for. So what I'm saying is you got to learn to stay plugged in to what it is that you truly want. If you want it, do not quit, because you had belief in it at some point. You just didn't achieve it in the timetable that you thought. See, God's timing is every time you think about quitting, that's when God reminds you of why you got started. God has a great sense of humor, and he will always do that. He will put people in your life that will help pick you up. He will put people in your life that will help you, remind you of why you were doing something. See, a lot of us were doing something. We just didn't achieve it the way we wanted to. It didn't come on our timetable. Maybe you didn't hit the Catalyst Club. Maybe you didn't hit your financial goal. See, Lance didn't achieve the Ironman his first go around, but did he quit? No, it was still on his mind. He still had belief. And that's what I'm saying. If you still have a little belief, it's better than no belief. So just remember to stay plugged in. Find ways to stay plugged in. Maybe it's a Zoom. Maybe it's a call. Maybe it's your leader. Maybe it's an event that's close by. You got to learn to stay close to the fire. You'll never get warm 100 miles from the fire. You only stay warm when you're close to the fire, when you stay plugged in. Tip number 3 is don't compare your business or your success to other people. See, I could have easily compared how fast some people went and got to Catalyst Club 3. They were rolling. I'm like, oh my man, I ain't even got one person to say, hey, I'll even think about buying. See, what I want you to do is, and I'm not saying compare yourself. You never want to compare somebody else's success to where you are. See, you don't know what that person been through. You don't know how many no's they've been told. You don't know how many no-shows they had. You don't know how many people canceled on them. You don't know how many people did whatever. You don't know their situation. This may be all they have. They just got fired from their job and they got to go get it. See, you don't know another person's situation. So what I can tell you, don't compare another person's business or situation to yours. All you could do is compare the person in the mirror. But what you can do with another person's business or success is use it as inspiration. If Marlene did it, I can do it. If Lance did that Ironman, I could do it if I put my mind to it. See, you use other people's situation as inspiration. Don't compare yourself to them. Their situation is different. But what you can do is inspiration. You know what? I can do this. And tip number 4 is the biggest one of it all, because you can have all the belief in yourself. You can have all the belief. You can do all those type of things. But if you don't take action, nothing happens. Nobody's joining your business. Nobody's ordering products from you. You're never going to achieve an Ironman. You're never going to have a successful photography business. You're never going to fire your boss. You're never going to do anything unless you take action. See, it comes back to the belief. And you want to know one thing that action does for you? It helps you build belief. It gets you one step closer to believing that you can achieve what you had thought out you can do. Belief is built when you do something. So always remember that. But I do want to end off with what I said in the middle. And I just want you to always repeat these type of things to yourself. Say things like, I am brave. I am kind. I am helpful. I am strong. I am smart. I am grateful. I am loved. And I am enough. Because you are. If you woke up today, you're still here for a reason. God has unfinished business with you. You just have to go out there and do what you got to do to achieve just that. Hey, I hope this helped y'all, but I promise you can achieve anything and everything you want to this year, starting today. What happened yesterday is done. There's nothing you can do about it. You can draw a line in the sand and say, hey, you know what? It's a new start. See, the great thing about life is you write your own book. You write your, see, God knows what he wants for you, but he gave you an empty book where you can write your own words. You write your own chapter. You do your own thing. So remember that, you guys. And I hope y'all got some value from this. Michelle, I got tons of notes for you, my friend. youarethebomb.com. And I enjoy this every Wednesday. Hey, we love you guys. And I'm going to hit the, did you have something else, Michelle?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to hit the unmute button so y'all can tell Michelle how awesome she is, because she's the bomb.com.
You both
Thank you so
are
much.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Very awesome. Thank you.
Great job today, guys.
Have a good week.
Thank you, Aunt. Thank you, Michelle. Awesome job, both